You are not going to believe what Amazon has done. To my amazement, they've done what companies rarely do. See, Amazon made a mistake, but that's not the amazing part because we're accustomed to companies making mistakes. So I want you to stick around and I'm going to share my shocking experience with Amazon and what, as leaders, we can learn from it. So let's go. So recently I got this email from Amazon and it basically said, we found a mistake in our return process and it was our fault. Here is your refund. Here is your money. No action needed. That was it. There was no 10-step process. There was no waiting on hold. There was no get on chat. It was just a clean, proactive resolution. We made a mistake. It's our fault. Here's your money, nothing for you to do. It's so amazing to hear, and I want you to see it to believe it. So let me read it to you. Dear customer, we are contacting you about an unresolved product return that you initiated on Amazon.com. Following a recent internal review, we identified a small subset of returns that were unresolved because we could not verify that the correct item had been sent back to us. We could have notified these customers more clearly and earlier to better understand the status and help us resolve the return. Given the time elapsed, we've decided to err on the side of customers and just complete the returns for these, or the refunds for these returns. You have one of those returns shown below. We have completed your refund for this item. The refund is being made to the original payment method, or if unavailable, we will apply an Amazon gift card to your account. Refunds typically take 3 to 5 business days to process and appear in your account. There's no action required from you to receive the refund, and we've made process changes to more promptly contact customers about unresolved returns going forward. You can visit your transactions and get the details. Refund of $19.43. We apologize for any inconvenience that this may have caused. So the reason I was so shocked and I wanted to share this with you is because most companies don't do this. Think about it. When things go wrong, what do you usually hear from the companies that you reach out to? They usually say something like, well, this is our policy. You signed it when you shopped with us. And remember, it's 15 pages long that nobody reads their policy. Or you must have done something wrong. Surely this is your fault. Or we can't help you without proof. You have to prove that we made a mistake. And this is why brand loyalty is suffering today. See, metrics show a decrease in overall brand loyalty with consumers because of experiences just like this. Most shoppers say, yeah, I'm willing to try a different brand or a different product, even from the ones that I typically use or the ones I prefer or the ones that I love, simply because they've had a bad customer service experience. This is true even with companies using more loyalty programs, trying to keep us coming back as customers, trying to keep us loyal to their brand. See, the average U.S. customer has over 15 loyalty programs, and that's 10% more today than it was in 2022. But even with all of the loyalty programs that continue to grow, I feel like every time I shop, someone's like, do you have our loyalty program? Do you have one of our cards? But both loyalty and engagement from customers and brands, it's on a decline. So this shows you that it takes more than just a program to build trust and to build loyalty with your customers. Now, for leaders, this trend of disengagement means there's an opportunity for you. So we're not just talking all about bad news, we're talking about opportunity. There's an opportunity for you to stand out by giving customers something to be loyal to. Now, I don't know if Amazon was being strategic with this decision just to admit that it was their fault and then to do the right thing, but I can tell you as a customer, it was definitely impactful. It stood out to me simply because I'm a leader and it's a rarity when someone admits their mistakes. So I think this is a good opportunity for us to learn and for us to grow from what they've done. So I want to offer 3 leadership lessons that every business and every leader should learn from this email. And the first one I would say is own the mistake. Own the mistake. If you make a mistake, simply own it. Amazon said from their own mouth, the issue was on our end. It was our fault. They did not try to pass the blame to me as a customer. They said, we identified the problem on our end. We could have notified you more clearly, and we could have done it earlier. So we have decided to refund this return. This is impressive ultimately coming from any company, but it's really impressive when it comes from a large company because they know the bigger they are, the harder it is to get something done. But they took responsibility, and that's such a rare thing for companies to do. And so for us, this is important for us to understand. Customers don't expect perfection, but they do expect honesty. Admitting faults builds credibility from your brand. It doesn't create a weakness. Owning mistakes builds trust. And the faster you own it, the faster that you can move forward with a resolution. Now, most rational people understand that mistakes are going to happen. And for most of those people, they really aren't worried about the mistake. They're worried about the solution. So just be honest about it. Admit that you have a fault and then provide the solution. And I want to challenge you to do something that will help the ability to admit mistakes in your organization. I want to encourage you to build a culture where it's safe to make mistakes. In other words, let your team know that inevitably mistakes are going to happen. You expect it. You've already anticipated it. And when a mistake happens, they can admit their mistake without fear. Most of your team are simply passing the blame because they don't feel safe to admit their mistakes. So leaders, we are afraid to give permission. I want you to understand why you're not giving them that freedom. It's because you're afraid to give permission, because you're afraid that it will give license for sloppy or careless work. But this is actually the opposite. This freedom to admit mistakes encourages your team to take risk, to try new things, and then own the problem when it happens. And ultimately, it gives them the ability to learn and to grow. The ability to admit mistakes is better for everyone. And then number two, I would say err on the side of the customer. That's exactly what Amazon did. Amazon could have taken the side of the company, and they could have told me all the reasons why they weren't able to provide my refund. I have had more experiences like that with companies than I have with someone erring on the side of the customer. But instead, this was their response. We're going to err on the side of the customer. And that phrase alone is a customer service masterclass. I know I've said it, but this is such a rarity. I'm still amazed at the experience I've had with Amazon. Companies today overwhelmingly err on the side of the company over the customer. So we know this because of the different customer service metrics that companies are struggling with. We know that they have low resolution rates. Studies show that only 14% of customer service issues are actually resolved through self-service channels. So give us a call, get on the chat, whatever that self-service, text us. And most of customer service today, all of those avenues, it's all basically self-service. So when the majority of customer service is self-service and only 14% of those issues are fully resolved, we have very low resolution rates. There's also high customer frustration. Customers are just burnt out on dealing with customer service. 71% say that contacting customer service is as stressful or even more stressful than the problem itself. If you think about it, how many times you have decided not to report a problem, not to deal with the issue, just to eat it simply because you didn't want to contact customer service because you knew it was going to be more frustrating than the problem that you had with the product or whatever it was to begin with. And that's sad when we're talking about supporting our customers. Another thing is that we have decline in the customer service experience. Overall, customers are saying that their experience is getting worse and worse and worse. Research says that customer service has declined for 3 straight years, with the average score reaching its lowest since 2016. So let me give my normal reminder here, because I think at the foundation, this is helpful. Business is about people. Without people, there is no product. And without those people, there is no profit. So stop erring on the side of the company. Clearly, that doesn't work. Now, I totally understand what our influence is in us putting the company first. And I know that's the bottom line. It's money. So you're thinking about all the money that you're going to lose by accepting the returns, taking the time to deal with all of these angry customers. But you don't lose money by being generous. You lose money by losing customers. Now, balance is what we're looking for. Balance is being healthy. There's a balance between these two tensions. So you have to have systems, and you have to have a structure that allows you to err on the side of the customer. We said it, 71% of consumers report contacting customer service is as stressful, or more stressful than the problem itself. So if you're going to deal with this, I think you need to do just a few things. These are a little extra, but maybe build margin for grace inside of your organization. Here's what that means. Let your team know it's okay to make a mistake. Now, as a leader, you know the difference between someone who is lazy, someone who's bringing less than their best, and you know when they're not performing to the standard. But you also know when someone is trying really hard and they were doing all of the right things, but they made a mistake. So let them know when they make a mistake, there's grace for that they're not going to be fired. They're not going to be reprimanded, that they have an opportunity to learn. So just equip them with the resources, with the understanding, with the teaching, or with the training that they need to do their job better and to better serve customers. But you have to build in margin for grace so they know it's okay to make a mistake. Another thing I would encourage you is give employees the authority to make it right. When they've made a mistake, when they've done something wrong, give them the authority to make it right. So what do they have in their resources? What have they been empowered to do to serve the customer? So if they know that a mistake has happened and it's their fault, have you equipped them and empowered them and given them the authority to do something for the customer, to immediately respond, to do it quickly without going through 10 channels, reaching out to 10 different people and trying to determine what they can do to serve the customer? But when you give them the authority, when you resource them with the ability to immediately make a decision in a mistake, to immediately respond to that mistake, you can serve your customers quicker. So give them the authority to make it right. Another thing I want to encourage you is to measure long-term loyalty, not just the short-term refunds or the short-term service calls or the short-term whatever in your context. So basically what I'm saying is Amazon could have said, we're giving away all of these returns. We can't afford to lose this money. We can't afford to spend the time. We can't do it, so we're not going to. But the reality is, when you measure the long-term loyalty of that customer, when they buy from you 10 more times and you refunded them once, but if they'd had a bad experience, you may have lost the customer forever. So my encouragement to you in whatever context it is for your organization, because it's going to be different for everyone, but just don't measure the short-term actions or the short-term situation. Measure the difference it's making in the long term, because you will have more loyal customers stick with you if they have a good customer service experience. So think about it. Think about it practically. What costs more? A $19.43 refund or a lost customer who tells 10 people not to shop with you? Or what's more valuable? $19.43 for the company to keep, or a customer who is impacted enough to make a video and tell everyone about their experience? They could have kept $19.43, potentially lost a customer. Or they could have given $19.43 away for a customer to tell everyone they know about the rarity of their experience. You can't advertise well for $19.43. And this is the best advertisement that they can get: happy customers. So you have the ability to err on the side of the customer. You can compete with Amazon at their own game and their own strategy by erring on the side of the customer. Now, the number 3 thing I would say is fix your system. Fix the system. Amazon understands that there's a problem, and they understand that their problem did not have anything to do with me. So notice what they did here, and what they have done is so powerful. Not only did they correct the result of their problem, but they also assured me as the customer that they're going to fix the root of the problem. And as a customer, they have given me a reason to remain loyal. They have told me that this will not happen again. And as a customer, I can now not just trust what they say, but I can trust what they do, because they have backed it up. So I know I can continue to shop with this organization. I can stay loyal to this company because they've recognized the problem they have, and that problem is not going to continue because they're going to fix it. See, the refund wasn't just reactive to a problem. It was proactive in retaining me as a loyal customer. So as a leader, you need to work hard at fixing the system. Every customer complaint should lead to a policy review. Ask your team, where did the system fail this person? When a problem comes in or you recognize that something's wrong, immediately go, where did our system fail? What went wrong here? And then as you begin to dig beneath the surface to determine what's happening at the root of it, make sure that you have a feedback loop that's making its way from the support teams all the way back to the leadership. So there's not a breakdown in communication, and whatever it is that you're finding actually has the ability to be resolved. So just imagine how your business culture would change if this type of leadership and this type of decision making was being modeled in your company. Mistakes would actually make everyone better. People wouldn't be passing the blame or be afraid to make a mistake, but everyone would be getting better. Your customer might even make a video bragging about your mistake. So here's my question for you. When your business messes up, and it will, what are you going to do? Are you making excuses, or are you going to make things right? And if you're in leadership, if you're in customer service, or if you just care about building a better business, learn a lesson from Amazon and start erring on the side of your people. Hey, if this brought value to your life, will you do me a favor? Will you like, subscribe, and share? And I would also love to hear from you. If you've ever had a company respond like Amazon, I would love to hear about it. So drop your comment below, and I'll see you on the next one.